WVUA-FM, Tuscaloosa.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Episode, I don't know, what is this, 12 of the College Struggles with Dev. All right.
Are you counting only episodes from this
Yeah, season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
Season 2. All right, so today's guest, Nikolai, welcome back. Everybody remembers Nikolai.
So glad to be back.
So glad to be back.
It's wonderful to be returning. Thank you for having me, Deven.
Of course. So today's topic is going to be about cooking in college and how people from college either know how to cook, they haven't cooked at all, or they know somomewhat, So
True.
Nikolai, have you ever cooked here in college?
I have, actually. So,
Okay.
before I came to college,
Right.
my parents, they were like, Nikolai, you eat the food that we make you, and you eat out. And, you eat like a pig. We put food in front of you, and you just, devour it. And then what are you going to do when you live alone? And so they made me, cook a couple dishes,
Okay.
myself.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Freshman year, I ate at the dining hall every single day, 5 times a day. I was
5 times?
I was a lakeside feed. Usually I'd be going there for a little snack. But
I'll be honest, fresh food over Lakeside any day, but
okay, my personal opinion, and obviously
Okay.
this does not reflect the opinion of WVUA or the university,
okay.
is that fresh will sometimes have something that's actually good.
Okay.
And Lakeside's always pretty mediocre, but Lakeside's consistent. You can go to Lakeside and know what you're getting and know that you'll have something to eat.
I've gone to fresh is pretty. It's not
I've gone to Fresh many a time and just found nothing that I want to eat
interesting.
and just left with. Although Fresh, I will say, has those those healthy, or at
Those
least
drinks.
they seem healthy. The drinks.
I love those drinks.
Yeah, there was my New Year's resolution last year was I was not going to eat any more Lakeside pizza and sweet tea.
Okay.
Because that was my meal every single night.
Oh my
for a semester.
gosh.
Yeah, I was not very healthy. But now that I'm a sophomore and I live off campus,
Right.
I found myself actually having to go to the grocery store. I'm still really bad about this. I eat out all the time.
That's fair.
But I have recently started cooking a little bit. I cook. No, the problem is, here's the real thing that people don't tell you. The problem in college is not that you don't know how to cook. Cooking is actually very easy. You just look it up and follow the recipe.
Right. Exactly.
You buy the ingredients, you follow the recipe. The problem isn't ability. The problem is motivation, because it's so much easier and faster and less hassle, and sometimes it's even less expensive to just hit up Jimmy John's, hit up Cookout, just get something to eat fast now, and then that lets you focus on what you actually want to be doing with your life. Going out, talking to people, whatever.
Fair. Yeah.
Cooking is that's 2 hours that you have to focus on making a good meal. And it's going to be a good meal, but also you're just going to eat it. In the same way that you would just eat Jimmy John's and
Right.
it's going to be gone.
Right.
Right? So that's for me, I find it really easy to cook when it's an event. When I'm having people over, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to cook. I go out and buy meat. I go out and buy, vegetables. I go out and buy the whole. I get a nice meal together for people because I feel like there's a good reason to do it. But finding that motivation for myself, where I know that I really won't care that much if I cook or if I get Jimmy John's, but it's the same. One has a lot more effort in it.
Right. And it's gonna be cooking because it's time and okay, what I want. Okay, do I have all the ingredients? Can I afford all the ingredients? Whatever.
Yeah.
All that. Do I have the time for all those ingredients? Or do I have time to cook? Do I have the assignment or whatever you have to do tomorrow or later today, whatever it is, all that, and do I have the fridge space for it? So yeah, it's crazy. But I feel I even last year I never had breakfast.
Yeah.
I always wake up and be okay, I'm gonna get some water or something and then go to my class. But now it's on weekends and even maybe not weekdays, but definitely weekends. I'll wake up. I'm okay, I got some bacon and eggs here.
Mm-hmm.
Make a little sandwich. Having a nice morning breakfast is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. And then bacon, egg, and cheese, some jalapenos. So good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that I'm 50-50 on breakfast.
Okay.
I try and get it when I can. Sometimes I'm running out the door to get to food.
Right.
But I'm a big cereal guy. I know lots of people. I know cereal isn't really that good for you,
Mm-hmm.
but I grew up eating a bowl of cereal every morning, so that's just throw in some cereal, get some milk. The problem is sometimes I'll run out of milk, and again the motivation behind oh, I have to actually go to the store and get milk versus, whatever, I'll just give it today.
Fair,
is because I'll just give it today for like 2 weeks.
Right.
Until I'm at the store for some other reason. I'm like, oh, I need to get milk.
Okay.
That's one of the big things about college that like makes you feel like an adult is like shopping for groceries.
No, it's very strange. I'm pushing a cart alone, and I'm like, okay, like I need this. Oh yeah, I could use this for that. And I'm like, oh, I'm out of this. It's just really strange.
I'm really bad about like every time I go to the grocery store, I will forget like 3 things.
I always make a list on my phone, like in my notes app or something.
Yeah.
And then this sounds like that's like my inner mom, but I'm like, where's like the coupons and like all like the sales and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though I look at sometimes like my mom will like send me like Publix like listings, and like this is like what's going on, like look for coupons. I'm like, oh, this is great, and I'm like, oh, I could use that, and I'm like, go find it. It's like 2 for $5, like hot sauce or whatever. So it's great.
Yeah. The one like I've seen some people that do cook though like regularly.
Right.
And I think what their secret is that they're in like a roommate situation where like everyone kind of contributes and everybody like wants to kind of contribute. And so they still have that like social pressure of like I'm cooking for other people.
Right.
But it's just like instead of having people over and have it be an event, because you can't do that every single day, right? They do it like for each other in a sort of a communal way. But I don't know. Honestly, I kind of wish I still had the meal plan. Just because, like, while I'm here, I want to, like... It's very convenient.
That's fair. I feel like my main thing I miss, though, was, like, the nice, like, water and fresh. Like, the, like, flavored, like, liquids. I don't know. It's just
yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. They have... Yeah. They come out of a machine. And
yeah.
I'm always skeptical of, like, is this really healthy? But it looks healthy, and it tastes healthy.
Yeah.
And it tastes not bad at all.
Even like the infused like water. I miss.
It's like a Mio.
It's nice.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, yeah, like the little It's nice though. It's cool.
That's the other thing is like those soda machines.
Mm-hmm.
Like even first semester freshman year, I was like, I'm gonna get sweet tea because I know it's bad for me, but it's not like soda bad for me.
Right.
I've got a friend. Well, actually, you know him. Our friend Alexander. Is studying to be a dentist.
Right.
And the things that he tells me, like frankly. Sometimes I don't even want to know because like the stuff that we like eat is so bad for our teeth. It's just horrible. Like soda is terrible for it. Even LaCroix. He told me that the carbonation in LaCroix actually can do damage to your like enamel. So like when you're drinking LaCroix, like it is a lot healthier in terms of like carbs and like chemicals and stuff than Pepsi. But he said don't just like hold it in your mouth. You have to like actually drink it because that carbonation itself is like
kills the enamel. Yeah,
it can do damage to your teeth.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I have to like that's another thing that I have to like get on top of is like knowing all the like health and nutrition stuff. Right. Yeah, because
I'd never think about that because like it's just like my metabolism. I'm like I'm so young. Who cares?
It's like, am I hungry? Because like that's the love of our care.
Right.
There's so much else that goes into that.
It's like, ooh, it's like for me, it's like, ooh, I need water, because, you know, like I need to be hydrated, or it's like, ooh, soda sounds so good, I'll have a soda. Like I don't even think about it.
Yeah,
that's just it. But I don't know. Oh man, and it's crazy to think like I have to start caring about these things soon. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get like, I don't know, heart attacks, just like from eating.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy I learned how to cook. I think I know how to cook a little bit in high school. I wasn't like an amazing chef, but like it's like you said, like it's not hard. It's just like knowing like, okay, like if you're hungry and want to do it, you can do it. So it's like not even, it's like you said, not skill. It's just like, can you follow directions? Like also like just, can you even read English? Like, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And
just like follow what it says and do what it says and you're fine.
The other thing is I think with some experience, you stop being like afraid of it. Because I remember when I was in high school and I was like trying to cook, I would always be like, it's say like saute this, and I'd be like, what does that even mean?
Right.
Like that sounds scary. I'm gonna mess it up, and I'll be like, I did mess it up like lots of times. Like I burned rice and stuff, just like doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like you won't starve to death just because you messed up one dish. And the other thing is like most food that you buy at the grocery store, like unless you like really really mess it up, it's not gonna be super bad for you, even if you don't cook it right. Like, you know, maybe it'll be a little crispy or whatever, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're learning.
It's still edible. Still tastes like okay.
Yeah. The other thing you have to keep in mind, though, when you're having, like, people over for event stuff is you have to, like, lots of people have different food preferences. in terms of like,
and like allergies.
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
allergies. People are gluten free. People are vegetarians. So you have to like,
Lame.
yeah, your views do not necessarily reflect the views of WVUA or the university. But yeah, you have to keep that stuff in mind because I have a friend that's like she can't do gluten.
Right.
Like it's some sort of health condition thing. And
Oh yeah, it's what is that called? I know what you're talking about. I have to think about it. Anyway, keep going.
I had her over when we were like baking. We were like making cookies and like we had like this little pie that we made, and it was like, oh,
You can't eat.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we went in the fridge and got her something else to eat.
Oh, that's
It felt bad.
That's all right.
Yeah, she didn't mind, but it's just like you got to keep that kind of thing.
Right. No, I mean I'm sure we did. I mean it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can still live with like I think gluten can't even taste like the difference anyway.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. But you also have to like, I don't know. I always make sure that my meals have like, it's kind of funny, but it's like one of the parts of all the food pyramid. So like it has to be like it has to taste balanced. I can't just like eat.
That's so
and
funny.
potatoes.
Really?
Yeah, you have to have like if you're gonna you have to have like a meat as the main.
Right.
This is my philosophy. You have to have a meat as the main centerpiece,
Okay.
right? And then you have to have like a base of like rice or potatoes or some kind of like carb.
Sure.
And then you have to accent that basically with a salad or like vegetables.
Okay.
Like cooked asparagus is one of my favorite because it's so easy. You
That
just
is
throw it in
so
the pan,
good. So good too.
throw it in the pan, throw some butter on
Right.
that, boom.
For me, it's like
done.
also like mushrooms. I love mushrooms.
True.
So good.
Mushrooms went down. As a kid, I hated mushrooms,
I agree.
but then growing up, like once you understand them, once
Like
they're
I feel
done
like
right,
yeah, like once they're like good, right? Like even like on pizza, it's like ooh, that's great.
Yeah.
And then on the sandwiches, or even because a side item, I remember like we had like stuffed mushrooms or like some kind of like fried mushrooms. It was so good.
there's like a mushroom in like a certain kind of sauce that my parents used to make.
Hmm.
That it was like Alfredo sauce. Like
Right.
it tasted like that.
Oh, those I know what you mean.
yeah.
Those like thin kind of cut mushrooms.
yeah.
So
exactly.
good.
That like yeah.
So
It
good.
has to work with the rest of the meal.
Right,
I
of
think
course.
it's- You know, I wouldn't eat a bowl of mushrooms straight up.
No, yeah, of course.
But-
That's kind of gross, but
I think they're stuff like that, just like to give the meal a balance.
right. I understand. I mean, there are like certain like vegetables you can eat like by themselves, like carrots, but like mushrooms or like broccoli. I don't know. This is kind of weird, but
I don't know. I like broccoli.
I mean, I feel like it depends. Like for me, like raw broccoli, it's okay.
I'm a big raw vegetable guy. That's part of my other
Really?
problem is that like I buy ingredients for food and then I just eat the ingredients. Like it's so much easier to just eat celery from the fridge than it is to like put
Make
it
a
in
whole
something.
meal, right? Yeah.
That's
That's fair. I love celery. I think it's like water sticks.
it is.
It's literally just water
crunchy.
sticks. It's amazing.
It's got everything you want. It's good for you.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I don't know.
I would think
It seems good for you.
it's good for you, and then you put it in ranch, and it's not good for you.
Yeah, I'm not a ranch guy.
I'm a blue cheese guy. I love blue cheese.
Here's one unhealthy food tip though
What's up?
for students, and this works for me and this works for other people that I know. So
Okay.
it works. If you order Domino's, and I think other pizza chains do this as well, but if you order Domino's in particular on like a Friday night or like a busy night,
Right.
and they have this deal where if they don't deliver for you within like 30 minutes or like some time frame, like you get enough of their like rewards points to get yourself a new free pizza. And like I had a friend freshman year who literally got a free pizza every single week because she would order on Friday night, and she lived on campus.
Mhm.
So it's impossible for them to get from Domino's to campus on Friday night, like at 9:00
Right.
within the amount of time. So she paid one time and got free pizza for the rest of the year.
Interesting.
And the pizza, like, it's like they don't let you do it immediately, but it's like a 2-day cool down period, basically. But yeah. And like a lot of companies have these like deals because like most like their understanding is like most of the time people aren't gonna go to the effort of doing that, and that that allows them to be like, oh, we were late, we're sorry. Like they can be like, we guarantee fast service, but if not, you know, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
So
So did you get free pizza just for like ordering that at that time?
yeah, well, because the free pizza she would get would also be late,
Right.
and they give you more points.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
Making money and making points and getting free food.
Yeah,
There's no downside. That's amazing. Oh, I'm gonna start doing that. Honestly,
yeah.
Friday night, like 11 p.m. Oh, I want some Domino's.
Get some Domino's.
Let's see if I can make it. Yeah.
No shot. Game days.
Oh, that's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime that game day.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Everything's closed. All the roads are closed.
That's one thing. So when I moved here,
Right.
like everything's closed on Sunday.
Right.
You can't do anything on Sunday, even if you wanted to. So it's not terrible, but like, I don't know. Back home, everything would be open.
Right.
24/7.
This is a college town. I mean, I feel like that's just like the rules, the way,
Yeah.
the Alabama way,
Sunday's a recharge day,
for real.
but it's a good deal.
I mean, I think, like, I feel like if, like, you know, weekend's fun, whatever, and, like, Saturday's game day, then, yeah, Sunday's, like, a recharge, sleep in, go to church kind of day.
Yeah, because people have to get ready for class on Monday.
Right, yeah. And
Or
then,
most people. I'm
Wait.
trying to schedule. The way I have my schedule scheduled now, I won't
Right.
have class on Monday. It's gonna be beautiful. I hope.
yeah, because you said, like, Monday and Friday, no classes.
Monday and Friday off.
What? I used to have 13, how many credits do you have? 16?
12.
12? Okay.
So I could take 12 or I could take 16.
Right.
But either way, like whatever I decide to do, I have to figure that out tonight actually because I'm registering tomorrow morning.
Okay.
7 a.m. But whatever I decide to do, like that's one thing. Like there's so many classes here.
Right.
Depending on your major, like I know some people that have like set majors and they're like, I have to take 9 a.m.s for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But like if you're an engineer, forget about it. Right.
Yeah.
But if you're in a chill major like history or like I don't know communications or something,
Criminal justice, even, I feel. Like,
yeah, CJ for sure. You're like your hours are like whatever you dream them. Like I could probably not have class on Wednesday either. I would just be Tuesday, Thursday like death stacks.
Yeah, like,
and then,
yeah.
But no, it's chill. It's a good deal.
Honestly, it's kind of nice because, like, for me, I have like Monday, Wednesday.
Mhm.
I only have my 9:30, and then I have the whole day off after
Yeah.
that. And then Tuesday and Thursday are pretty packed from, like, I'd say, like, 9:30 to, like, 6:15 ish. And then Friday, I only have my 9 a.m. history, like, what's it called? Recitation. And then my 1 o'clock, like, lab or 12 o'clock lab for accounting.
Yeah.
So I have a quiz every Friday.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of. I have to study for. All I do with my time is just study for that.
Is it hard? Is it like a hard
It's
quiz?
yeah. Like I remember because like
That's crazy.
it's really scary. I mean, it's like yeah, no business major or whatever, but like honestly, like accounting is hard. Like I remember my teacher like I went to her office hours all the time, and she was like, the way you need to like learn and like test yourself and like know if you know the information is like teach other kids. So like you know how like me and like my girlfriend will have like Bruno like library we'll like go to the library and like rent out like hours. This past few, like I think this past week, every day I was in Bruno, and I would have a couple kids, ranging from like 3 to like 30 like kids, come in for accounting. I had like office hours. I would like literally just teach them because we all had a test last Monday, and on starting I think Wednesday or Thursday, I had like people come into Bruno, and I would literally just teach them everything.
This guy's counting TA.
No, for real. I was like, I remember I went to TA.
Apply.
I thought about like even my teacher like you should be in a accounting like what's it called like a major. My major still like finance, but I was like, nah, I'm okay. I like my life, but
Yeah.
I remember because even the TAs, some of them like oh yeah, I had a C in this class, but I'm still an accounting major and an accounting TA. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But and some of them will like be like, oh, I don't really know like what this account or like what this is, or like what the answer is. And I look at like the other kids' homework. I'm like, oh, it's this. And the TA, I remember this happened like last week. He was like, thanks for doing my work. I was like, no problem. I was like, no problem, man. It was great. Because I mean, it's for me, it's like I'm learning it because like I know it,
Mhm.
and then like that kid will know it because like oh, okay, like it's this because it's this, and I'll explain everything.
Yeah.
It's great. So history though, like what do you even do? Like what's your day-to-day like routine?
So every history class I've ever taken is set up like this. You have a professor who's an expert in that area.
Right.
So the class will be like German history, and the professor will be like a German history expert.
Fair.
And they'll teach like 4 or 5 classes, but they're all like the same theme. So like Professor Peacock, for example, she teaches about Russia.
Okay.
Like Russia's her area, right? And her like actual research as a researcher is about like the Soviet Union and children, but she knows broadly about Russia in general. Class itself is usually it's like this. You've got readings that are assigned to you at the beginning. And the purpose of the readings is to give you like an in-depth view of the subject.
Right.
Like the readings will be like, if the class is about the 30 Years' War, you're going to get a book called The 30 Years' War. And it's going to go like note by note, like everything that happens. Here's all the stuff. And then class is just lecture. So class is just explaining, here's what happened in history. Here's, this guy did this, and then this happened to him. And then it's just like a story. And your grades for every class that I've ever been in, you're graded on two things. Theoretically, you're graded on attendance and participation. Very theoretical. But in reality, you're graded on like 3 or 4 papers.
Right.
And the papers are kind of serious. The papers are like probably 9-page. So usually there's like 2 less serious ones, and then a third one that's like the real paper.
Right.
And then your midterm and your final.
Right.
And the papers are just like, they're usually like research papers. So go to the library, go find your own books on this subject, or go to the internet and go to like JSTOR, go find like research on this.
Via all that.
And then write a paper that's analyzing an argument or making an argument. The paper is not like in 1869, Frederick went here and did this.
Right.
The paper is like the view that, the Germans influenced France is not really accounting for this, and this factor. And you just bring in evidence to like support it. And so it's not like, if you know what you're doing, which is, if you're a history major, like hopefully you do.
Right.
It's not like that complicated. You just, it's a little bit of effort. But if you put in the effort on those 3 papers, all you have left is the final. And the way the finals are usually pretty chill. The way the finals usually set up is there's like a multiple choice section, which is just like, what is this true?
Right.
Did this happen? Like
easy.
What year? And then most of it is usually a short answer where it's like a prompt. And the prompt is just asking you like, Philip of Macedon, who was he? And then you write everything you know basically about Philip of Macedon.
That's crazy.
And most of that information if you just go to class. Like, history is not a very difficult major because there's not much you can do with it, really. Like, if you're a history major, you can teach history, which is cool. Like, go to high school, teach history. You can go into history academia, which you have to get a master's for. And from what I've heard, it's not difficult to get into a history graduate program. You just apply, and if you've got good grades, and if you, have been involved with like the history department stuff that they do, it's very easy to do. And then most people are pre-law, basically.
Right.
That's what I am. I'm going to law school. But yeah, it's a fun major. It's a cool major. The professors are really helpful in terms of like they talk to you, they know you in a personal context outside of just class. And there's a surprising amount of like history research that's available.
Right.
I will say one thing about history in particular is that it's very, very helpful if you know a foreign language. If you know a language that's not English, you can go a lot further in your history on the academia side of things. Like if you actually want to get involved with research and stuff like that, that's where knowing a foreign language is like critical.
That's fair. Okay.
If you're just using history to like be a history teacher, or if you're using it to go to law school, yeah, it's whatever.
Right.
But because like one of the professors is his like area of study is like Latin American colonization, so like Spanish Empire, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so his research right now, my friend Sherman is working for him. Like he's like looking at like records from the Spanish Empire in like Latin America, and he's like translating these names and these dates and all this stuff that's like written down like a census. He's translating that.
Okay.
But it's all in Spanish. And most of the world's history obviously is not like in English. And the stuff that is in English is like there's a lot of people in America like talking and writing about it, and it's very competitive. But if you know a foreign language, especially like not Spanish, like a common foreign language, if you know like one that's pretty niche and you know English, then the world is very small actually in terms of like history academia for whatever your subject is. Like another one of our teachers, Dr. Riches, mm-hmm. he wrote me a letter of rec. I love that guy. He's kind of old school, so some people don't like him, but I love him. Like his area of study is German Protestants and Swedes in the 30 Years' War. Like he's written a book about it. He's like got papers. He's like well regarded in the like 30 Years War scholarly community. But there are probably like 2,000 people that are like qualified that speak English, that are like qualified like in his like concentration of study. Like he is one of the like top authorities on that. And almost like at Alabama, almost all the professors are like authorities in their field, in their specific like super small niche.
Fair, okay.
I don't know to what extent that's true of like other colleges and departments. I know that's pretty true of like science. Like I took a geology class, and I always do this with all of the classes I take. I always look up the professor on Rate My Professor, but I also look them up like as people.
Okay.
And I took this geology class with a guy named Yang Zhang, and he was like brand new professor. Like he had no Rate My Professor. He was first semester. He was from China, and I looked up his scholarly like academia, like his resume basically, and he had graduated from this like Chinese university, but he's like a world-class hydrologist. Like he has articles that have been cited more than 4,000 times on like the nature of water and sediment. He can like look at a river and be like, okay, if you put a dam here, here's what's going to happen with the soil. Like he's a genius, and he's teaching geology 101 to a room of like 300 kids who are non-geology majors. Yeah. He asked on the first day, is anyone here a geology major? No one raised their hands because he's teaching rocks for jocks.
Right.
And like he was fun. He was a good teacher. He like taught from the PowerPoint basically. Right. But a lot of the teachers, especially in science, are like they're here to do research, and they're doing very serious, like groundbreaking, like industry leading research, and then like classes, whatever. Like especially for, I find especially for like foreign professors. And for professors teaching like intro courses, like they could not care less about the intro course. They would much rather be focusing on their research. But because they're new or because they drew like the short end of the stick, they got stuck with, 101s.
Yeah. Although my intro to astronomy class sounds like easy, but it was like all basically physics, and my teacher was like a doctor and everything. She like was very passionate about the subject. I didn't like look her up or anything, so I don't really know what she was, but I know she was a doctor. I know she was like you could like tell like in class how like she like, cared so much, and no one cared. Like no one in the room, because it was all like a random. Like everyone was just like it was like a gen ed. Like everyone needs like a science. Yeah. So it's just like okay, I took the science. Like I got an A-, whatever. Like I mean like it's honestly not that easy, but whatever. And like I remember, because like, I'm an elementary education major, and like a bunch of even some history majors are in there. It's just like I don't know, like you just need that out of your way. So it's just a class you take, just take. But yeah.
I don't know. I feel like especially freshman year, it's kind of less so now, but especially freshman year, like a lot of the classes I was in could have been like super boring and lame, right? If nobody bought in. But all of my classes, I was very lucky. All of my classes, I had like a couple people that just decided, you know what? I have to be in geology all semester. I might as well like care, right? I might as well put some effort in. And it was super fun. Like for that group.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. We always had fun in geology lab because like, in science lab, in like biology lab or whatever, you guys are like looking at beakers and like doing experiments. Right. In geology lab, it's like, here's 5 rocks. Figure out what kind of rocks they are. Like label them on this sheet. And like the only like actual like experiment we did, I guess, was they gave us like 10 rocks, and we had to figure out like what categories they were in, and we could scratch them with a penny. We could like put acid on them to see if they reacted. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was interesting, and I learned a lot about like just some basic geology stuff, like how the ground works, basically. And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is fun. But if you have it with an attitude of like, man, I just got to get this class done with,
then it's not going to be good.
It sucks. Yeah, it's so bad.
Like, I feel like that's what people do with accounting. Like, I mean, like everyone drops it. Like, really? Like, a lot of people drop. Like, I mean, like, it's either after the first test, like, after the second test, I remember the class size, you could, like, just tell. It drops, like, by, like, 40%. Wow. It was nuts. Like, it was, like...
That is insane.
It's really, like, really... And you need it. Like, if you're going to be a business major, you need to take the class. You can't... Yeah. There's no way out of it. Yeah. And, like, if you want to take another university, it's 2 classes everywhere else.
Wow.
because we're combining the both like gap
Macro and
accounting and managerial accounting.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's like it's a lot to take in at once, especially if you don't know anything about accounting like I do. So it's like all I do with my time is study this class.
wow.
All I do is study this class because it's a lot. And then I'm doing fine. It's definitely my lowest grade. It's like a B minus right now, but it's rough. Like it is.
Dang.
It is rough. Like I mean, like you study all the time, and like even the quizzes. Like if we miss one question, it's 13 points off that quiz grade.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, but at least the tests are like they're like pretty like spread out. But yeah, but just like the quizzes, like they're like there's like 10% or 15% for homework, same amount for homework quizzes. So it kind of balances out. Like if you like homework, so if you get everything right, you'll get 100. Like before,
Yeah.
before they, I heard
hopefully.
this. Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes some kids will get like an 80, and like I call it a day. Because before there was this rule. I heard this from like previous like kids that like if you got an 80 in the homework or above, it would just round up to 100. So I was like, okay, but they don't do that anymore.
Oh, wow.
So I think if they did that, my grade would still it'd be a little higher by like 3-4 points or something. But like, still, it's a little rough. But I mean, I'm doing it out here. I'm sticking it out.
Yeah.
I'm not taking this class. Like everyone retakes this class.
Really?
Like I remember I was like doing the TA hours thing earlier, and I had like a kid come in and say, "Hey, man, I'm a senior," and I'm like, "Dude, what?" I'm like, that's crazy. Like I can't imagine taking a class, like an intro class for like a gen ed, like for your major, at like this late in the game. But
Yeah.
like I could never, unless it was like a class that was like insanely hard. I don't need it, and like it was just like a waste of like a struggle of like a credit I don't like need, or like I could like get with like an easier class, like less workload, then I would drop it. But if it was like if it's something I need, like intro to finance or something, or like
Exactly.
management or operations management, something like that, or like marketing, I need it. So like I'm gonna stick it through. Like unless like the professor is so bad and it makes no sense. But obviously that's just like that's like a true like rule of thumb that you need to follow. Like if it's it's hard, I'm gonna drop. That's stupid. Like you're gonna need to take the class, so you might as well just stick it out and try it.
Yeah.
And you need to like put the work in. Like I'm sorry, but you need to work.
Yeah, my dad's an accountant.
Yeah.
And he keeps telling me to take accounting as like it's a useful life skill. You never know when you're gonna need it.
You could take an accounting class, like take my accounting class. But I have a friend who says she has accounting, but it's like a different like, it's like JC or something, 200. I don't know what it is, but it's like
Interesting.
yeah. But it's AC 210. That's a business accounting. So, and you could take it. I mean, that's definitely what he does if he's like saying if he's in accounting. So
Yeah, he's a CPA.
yeah, then yes, he takes that. But so like yeah, you could take that class and see just for fun, maybe I don't know, like over the December or something. But
Do you like work with the books like directly?
I literally do everything. I do everything they give me. I do textbooks, practice problems, concept.
No, I mean
videos.
like the accounting that you're doing. Are you learning how to like?
Oh, okay. So
What are you learning?
it's like right now it's like stuff like journal entries, income statements, balance sheets, stuff like, and like a lot of it was. I remember this new unit is like more focused on the other side of accounting, the other like kind of accounting, and the guy was like, "Yeah, so like we don't really do that as an accounting, like in accounting." I'm like, "Why do we learn all this then? I don't really get it, but fine."
Yeah.
And he's like, and like the way it's like the other accounting is that he does that we're learning like for this like last test, it's very similar, but it's different like method wise, but it's the exact same outcome, and
Right.
it's just like from a different perspective. So instead of like the first ones were kind of like, okay, someone gives you money and like like you gave them a t-shirt, like inventory, whatever, and you sold a product, record that like transaction, record that on like your overall income statement, like what was like your salaries, what was your wages, what was your expenses, what was your income, like all of that, your dividends, all of that.
Right.
So then now it's like, okay, you're the business. Like you need to know, like as your business regarding don't just mind about anything else. Like, okay, how did you get this number? Like, why is this number here? Is it a fixed cost? Is it like all of that? So like, is it like what's that word? Not, it's like the opposite of fixed. It's like
Variable?
Variable, yes.
Yeah.
Variable cost. So
Yeah.
easy, but
It's my dad. Like he said that he learned like all the like book stuff,
right.
like balancing sheets or whatever, in college. But in his actual job, all he does is program.
Interesting.
Because they have giant, like he works for big companies. They have giant, like systems, basically, like algorithms, basically,
Yeah.
that do all the moving numbers around. Because obviously, it's a lot easier than having like 40 million people.
Right.
Do it. But his job all day is to like sit there and like troubleshoot the algorithm
Yeah.
and make sure the algorithm's doing its job correctly and like there are no problems with it. But yeah, it's interesting because he said like, yeah, in college I didn't learn any programming, and then in my job that's basically all I do.
That's crazy. I could not imagine that. Like, I mean, imagine. Like, I remember my aunt who went to UGA for accounting, and she works in accounting now. She told me like when I went to go to college, she was like, "Do not become an accounting. Do not become an accountant." But I think she has like a CBA or CPA or something instead. So maybe her job's definitely different. But it's very interesting how like I feel like any business major, it's just very like diverse. It's like you could have a career in any kind of like business.
True.
So I feel like it's like not like stuck to your major. Like, yeah, my major's finance, but who knows? I could work in advertising. Like, like whatever. But who knows? It just depends like where like life takes me and like.
It's like who you know. And...
Yeah, I mean, I don't like really have like you're stuck. Like I know I'm gonna be a lawyer, go to law school. You know, for me it's like
I'm stuck.
Well, not stuck. You know what I mean? Like you have like you know like what you want. Like I don't really like know what I want. And like for me, it's just like I know myself so well. It's like I will be happy. If it's something I want to do and like I can see myself doing it, and like it's like it pays well or like a good amount, I'll be happy. I'll be fine. Because like, for me, it's like it's not about making money. It's not about like getting so many years in debt, student debt in college, and like making like the best money, being so prestigious, like being a doctor. For me, it's just like
being prestigious.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like, it's just like okay, like are you okay where you ended up? Like, are you happy? For me, it's like just you're happy and like you're not gonna like die. Like you're not gonna be like I'm not gonna make any money. Like you need to make some money to be like okay in like life and be stable, obviously. But especially because like the job markets are always like ever constantly flowing. So, and you never know what's gonna be taken or not. But
so true.
Yeah, who knows where I could end up? I could be in Memphis. I could be in Maine. Who knows?
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. I'm a business major. Could be in Scotland.
True.
Yeah, we'll see.
The lake was like Scotland this morning.
Oh, that was so nice. Yeah. Yeah, we went sailing this morning. It was beautiful.
You know, people that work at WVUAFL. we're cool like that.
We're just very, very, very
Shout out Jack, by the way.
Shout out Jack Day.
If he's listening. He should be listening. He told us he would.
He said he would, yeah. I believe him.
So this is for you, Jack. This is your shout out.
If you're not listening, we will find you and we will be very upset. But
true.
Yeah.
Shout out everyone else listening as well.
Shout out everybody in the world.
Every single person.
Every single one. All of you. All 8 billion of you human beings.
They're all tuned in.
They're all listening.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I wish I could tell though who could listen to this, or who is listening live. Yeah, true.
If you're listening right now, find Deven Patel on social media and message him.
Yeah, text me right now. My Instagram is and my name Deven Patel, spelled Deven Patel, Patel. I'll say it again. I am Deven Patel. Find that on my Instagram and then DM me and say, hey, I'm listening to you right now. And it'll blow my mind because I want to know how many listeners I actually have. If you don't have Instagram, I'm trying to think. I don't want to like leak my number, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just find me. You'll find me at the station every Sunday, 6 to 7. So you know where I am. Office of Student Media at UA. Ring the doorbell. I'll come visit my fans. I do a meet and greet someday. Thank you guys for listening. What other show do you know? We'll talk about accounting, life, cooking, history majors, and then play Freebird as the way to end it off.
So true.
Shout out to all my fans.
Yeah, we got an amazing response.
Of course. It was my girlfriend and then someone else, and that was amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
2 listeners and
two
Jack.
Phenomenal listeners, and theoretically Jack.
Theoretically. I hope she's listening, but still. 3 listeners in one little session. That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Good night, Tuscaloosa. It's been so much fun.
Stay sexy.
Stay sexy.